P came in here and beat up on my body.
I'm trying to go an opposite way. I don't want to be walking around cracking people in the head and drive-by on people. That ain't me.
He has always been his own man. When he make up his mind to do whatever it is he want to do, that's what he gonna do.
Every region in the South got its own legends. Some larger than life, some straight up wild, but none hit harder than the story of Master P and Pimp C, two powerhouses on a collision course.
Once I found out Mama was cool with what was going on, he believed he would.
That mixed music, money, and street pride. What started as studio magic turned into full-blown chaos. Hotel rooms got tense, phones lit up in Houston with dangerous calls, and one of the South's most feared CEOs had to step in before things went from bad to bloody. This wasn't just about music, it was about ego, empire, and survival. The streets whispered every detail through mixtapes and backstage talk. Stories passed between Texas and Louisiana, two states fueled by pride and hustle. Pimp C, the fiery half of UG, brought that raw Texas soul, producing, singing, and flipping beats that shook.
My two friends, I definitely felt I needed to step in. Master P wanted to be respected, and Pimp C wanted to be respected. To get both parties on one accord, where the subject of respect, that was the solution.
The whole South, Master P, the mastermind behind No Limit, ran his label like a military unit. But when business mixed with pride, everything exploded. All over one thing that always starts trouble: money and respect. Master P was deep in his grind, selling records straight out the trunk, turning that Richmond hustle into a full-blown New Orleans empire. He wasn't just chasing success, he was plotting to take over the entire rap game. When his path...
The dude came to Jay Prince to get permission to kill Chad, right?
Damn.
And Jay Prince like, no, we got a lot of money on the line, this my guy, and they gaffled him up.
Crossed with UGK, it looked like a perfect match. Texas credibility met No Limit reach. Their bond peaked in 1996 with Break 'Em Off Something from P's Ice Cream Man album, the track that made Master P a household name across the South. But behind the hit came tension. Pimp C started feeling like the business wasn't adding up. Royalties, credits, and who really got paid. For him, it wasn't just about dollars, it was about respect. He dropped the beat, the hook, and that raw energy that took Master P's name to another level. So when the numbers didn't match the effort...
Outspoken, he could rap, he could sing, he could produce, he was a multi-talent.
It hit deep, like being robbed of recognition. Then came the real twist. Not from the studio, but a phone call. And it wasn't even Pimp C talking. It was his mother, Mama Wes. She wasn't just family, she was his manager. Fierce, protective, and ready to go to war for her son's business. One day, Master P hit up Mama Wes pressing hard for Pimp C to pull up to Baton Rouge for a recording session. But Pimp already had another gig booked, an independent artist who'd paid him the same $10,000 P was offering. Mama Wes kept it business. She told P straight up that money's money and a deal's a deal. Words got exchanged, sharp ones. Pimp overheard it, and that flipped the whole situation. To him, this wasn't business, it was blood. You don't talk down to his mama, not ever. Even though P called back half an hour later trying to make peace and agreed to record the next day, the damage was done. They made the track, and yeah, it blew up, but something had changed. On stage, Pimp's...
Master P had cussed out C's mom on the phone. So Pimp got on stage that night and he said, limit, and went off.
Started speaking his mind, telling crowds how P disrespected his mother. Whether it was literal or just how he felt, that line had been crossed and Pimp C wasn't letting it slide. Crowds started chanting with Pimp C, going against No Limit, against Master P, and it didn't happen just once. City after city, he kept that same energy, turning it from a grudge into a full-on movement. What Pimp was doing wasn't venting, it was a public challenge. And in hip-hop back then, that was dangerous business. To understand why, you gotta look at how P came up. He didn't walk into a label begging for a deal. He built one from scratch. Out in Richmond, California, long before the South crowned him, he was out there hustling, selling CDs from the trunk, hand to hand, stacking every single dollar. By the time he brought the movement back home to New Orleans, his mindset had shifted. He wasn't just a rapper anymore, he was a boss. He owned his masters, controlled distribution, and ran everything in-house. No Limit became a monster of a label, loud.
I built No Limit on $10,000. I put up my own posters. I went to every hood.
out of the
bold and unstoppable. The roster was stacked. Silk the Shocker, C Murder, Mia X, Mystical, Fiend, and even Snoop Dogg. Master P had turned hustle into an empire. About 300 miles west, UGK was building something totally different. Port Arthur wasn't known for rap. It was small, industrial, and quiet compared to Houston or Dallas. But inside that quiet town, Pimp C and Bun B were cooking up a sound that changed everything. Pimp C was the architect, rapping, producing, composing, mixing blues, gospel, and that hard 808 knock. He called it country rap tunes, Texas soul at its finest. Bun B brought that deep, commanding voice, the kind that made people listen. Pimp was the spark, emotional, fiery, unpredictable, but smooth when he wanted to be.
Years old, we doing shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we really wasn't no serious money. I think we were getting $500 a show.
Together, they were untouchable. Their slang, their stories, their southern flavor, it was real, and it didn't need approval from New York or LA. By the mid-1990s, their paths started to cross. No Limit was rising fast, and Master P wanted to lock in with the South's finest. UGK already had Texas and Louisiana on lock. Pimp's beats hit hard, and Bun's verses gave every track that extra punch. When Break 'Em Off Something dropped in 1996, it became one of Master P's biggest breakout hits. Two Southern forces joining up for a moment that felt legendary. For a second, everything looked perfect, but under the surface, their worlds just didn't move the same way. Master P thought like a CEO. Business first, art second. Every move he made was about control, ownership, and expansion.
He has always been his own man. When he make up his mind to do whatever it is he want to do, that's what he gonna do.
Pimp C, he was pure artist, loyal to the sound, the message, and his pride. To him, respect came before money, and once that was tested, the tension started to show. Soon, that heat bled into the music. Pimp began sliding slick jabs into his verses, talking about fake hustlers and folks trying to control his time. Outsiders heard it as regular rap talk, but people close to the game knew who he meant. As one insider put it, Pimp C, man, that dude was a character, bro. He came from Master P, and Master P wasn't backing down either. Instead of dissing back in verses, he turned No Limit sound into a weapon, sharper, louder, and militant. Every beat hit like a war drum, a signal that this wasn't just rap beef. It was a power struggle for the South's crown. Everything around No Limit screamed power. The tank, the soldiers, the empire. Master P didn't need to call names. The whole brand spoke for him. The covers, the hooks, even the chants, all shouted the same message.
It's Pimp C, man. Listen, bro, the man is such a character, bro. He message.
We're bigger, we're stronger, we can't be touched. But UGK already owned the underground. Their sound was the soundtrack to Texas, the country rap tunes that bumped through every Cadillac and club. Pimp C's subliminals weren't just shots, they were statements. He wanted the world to know he wasn't anyone's soldier or employee, and when he hit the stage, he made sure everyone heard it. At one show, before even dropping a verse, he stopped the music and called out a dude from Louisiana who disrespected his mama, and the whole crowd erupted, chanting, "For Master P!" in unison. It was more than beef, it was a Southern showdown. That wasn't a subliminal anymore, it was live on stage, raw and unforgettable. From that night on, every UGK verse that sounded like a diss hit harder than ever. Fans picked sides fast. Texas stood behind Pimp C, chanting every line like an anthem, while Louisiana rallied around Master P, their general who seemed untouchable. What began as a clash over money, pride, and respect had now turned into a full-blown cultural divide. The music didn't just tell the story.
They're saying F No Limit.
It spread it, fueled it, and forced fans across the South to choose where their loyalty stood. According to multiple accounts, from family, friends, and even Pimp's own retelling, he was staying at a Residence Inn in Sugar Land, Texas, while finishing Riding Dirty. It wasn't his usual spot, but the downtown hotel was full. That small change turned out to be dangerous. Late one night, his hotel door was forced open. Masked men stormed in, and among them, witnesses claimed, was Master P himself. They held Pimp down, and he got struck several times. A brutal warning meant to make a point. The aftermath was ugly. Pimp was left hurt and shaken.
And P had to...
His mother believing he'd even suffered fractures. The message was clear. This wasn't just rap beef anymore, it was war. That moment wasn't subliminal anymore. It was live, raw, unforgettable. From that night on, every UGK verse that sounded like a dig carried extra weight. Each sharp bar became a rallying cry for Texas, while every new No Limit drop, stacked with features, slick videos, and national reach, fueled Louisiana's belief that their general was untouchable. Afterward, the fallout was brutal. Pimp suffered a concussion. Mama West believed he may have had fractured ribs. The lines had been crossed. The war wasn't just in words now. The hotel chaos, the subliminals, the paranoia, it all started eating at him. Everywhere he turned, his name was being dragged into beefs across the South. Pimp C kept grinding, still pushing UGA forward, but behind the music, his life was unraveling fast. Then came 2002, the year everything flipped. Pimp was hit with an 8-year sentence for aggravated assault.
Two friends, I definitely felt I needed to step in. Master P wanted to be respected, and Pimp C wanted to be respected. To get both parties on one accord, where the subject of respect, that was the solution.
Tied to a run-in where a weapon was allegedly involved. For someone who'd always walked that fine line between fame and the streets, this time, it finally caught up to him. Inside, he became a legend, respected by inmates, seen as proof that someone from their world could rise and still keep it real. But the walls didn't calm his mind. They made him sharper, more suspicious. After his release, he spoke about guards targeting him, about being surrounded by people who either hated him or wanted something from him. Behind bars, Pimp C lived in two worlds, one creative, one chaotic. On one hand, he was still writing music, mentoring younger artists, keeping that Southern fire alive. But on the other, he was boiling inside, replaying every betrayal, every disrespect. And the Master P beef never left his mind. That hotel room story haunted him like unfinished business. Outside the walls, the whispers kept spreading. Rumors of UGK affiliates
concerned about me or my well-being. They were just trying to cover their in case something went down and I got.
And No Limit associates clashing at clubs, crews watching each other backstage, silent tension hanging heavy. It never turned into open warfare, but it stayed hot enough to keep everybody on edge. In the South, nothing that serious moved without approval. And in Houston, all roads led to Jay Prince. He was the quiet powerhouse of Rap-A-Lot, a man whose name carried more weight than most rappers combined. According to people close to Pimp, the call was real, and Prince shut it down instantly. Pimp C later admitted the whole ordeal drained him, not just mentally, but financially. Even with real ones like Bun B and Jay-Z looking out, being locked up meant watching money vanish faster than it came in. He said it made him bitter, suspicious, and slow to trust again, but it also gave him something new: clarity. When he finally walked out in December 2005, free after 3 long years, he carried both pain and perspective. That's why one of his first moves was to make peace with old enemies. And yes, that included Master P. In later interviews, Master P said Pimp came to him straight up and said, "Big dog, I apologize to you. That was my bad. I was on drugs." It was raw honesty, sad but real. The paranoia, the anger, the chaos, all of it had been fueled by stress and substance struggles. Even Mama West confirmed it. She said P was one of the first people to call when her son got home. They talked it out, forgave, and even discussed linking up again. Maybe completing the circle they once started, but even after that truce, Pimp couldn't fully shake the past. He'd spent years convinced someone wanted him gone. Those scars ran deep.
Who came to Jay Prince to get permission to kill Chad, right?
Damn.
And Jay Prince like, no, we got a lot of money on the line. This is my guy. And they gaffled him up.
Still, he tried to rebuild, to focus on music and peace. But sadly, that peace didn't last long. Pimp C passed away on December 4th, 2007, just 2 years after his release. Mama West would follow years later. Out of respect, Master P rarely speaks on it now, saying he won't discuss the past when Pimp C and his mother aren't here to tell their side. If you enjoyed this breakdown of one of Southern Rap's wildest feuds, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.